Back on board with Bruce Mitchell. He is a writer for the PWTorch.com publication, plus writes all over that PWTorch.com website. You've been with these guys now, what, 30 years?
27 years, but this is the 30th year for the PW Torch. I believe it's this month. In fact, that was Wade Keller, who is on Podcast One. So if you're looking at this, free shows on Podcast One, 4 shows a week. I also do podcast for PW Torch. I appear on Podcast One, and then I do my own show, the Bruce Mitchell Audio Show. We're working 3 times a week now. Just did a show last night on Anthem and the $7.99 streaming service for TNA, the TNA library, and talking about Raw, beating around the Shield and Enzo Amore.
What about your column on the Torch website? Does that come out once a week, twice a week?
Once a week, yes, once a week.
Once a week. And you talked about Anthem last night. Let's talk about a man who was working in the company Anthem, now controls the Impact Wrestling. What about Billy Corgan and the NWA moves he's making? Now, we hear a little bit about that this week. He's going to try to bring the NWA back gradually, not going to go overboard, go too hard, too soon, too quick. He's going to make it a free service on the internet where you watch the matches there. What do you see or foresee in the future for the NWA and Billy Corgan? All the old NWA territories think have been dissolved. He's going to start it from scratch. Billy's move, and do you think Billy tries to maybe connect with other wrestling organizations and do things for them as well? What's the future look like here?
Well, I wrote about this last week in the PW Torch, the PW Torch newsletter.
Was that the pay site?
Yes.
The premium site.
The premium site.
Sorry about that.
Now, there's 2 back and forth, but yes, I can't say that I was very positive about it. In fact, it was.
Well, tell us, give us a little, since we didn't give us
well, I mean, at some point, you can say all these things about streaming services and social media and some very slick stuff, but we have slick talking, but we have heard all these things before. At some point, you've got to have some content. You've got to have something that you've got to have some wrestling stars, and you've got to have some shows, and you've got to have a way to make money. And just to say I've got a 20-year plan, wrestling for in the time I've been writing for the Torch in 27 years, had a lot of pie in the sky plans. And Billy Corgan is a smart dude, and Dave Lagana is very well spoken, but I don't hear anything to throw it way back. Where's the beef? Mm-hmm. Where do you make the money?
Kind of sounds like the formula that Jeff Jarrett had, was to have that Global Force Wrestling when it was supposed to take off, and there he was going to have these TV deals going. He was doing TV taping, but it never showed up anywhere. They were going to have house shows, which they had a few, and later those kind of started to die too. It's a tough thing to make it. You got to have a very strong plan. You got to have some deep pockets. It sounds like Billy Corgan's got the pockets to carry him for a while anyway.
Yeah, but I don't know that he's going. I don't know that he's looking to spend the money. And from what I'm hearing is social media growing things and doing things for free and and it's like, okay, so what does that mean exactly? It sounds great, but it doesn't. It's a lot of smoke. So I'm skeptical, to say the least. I'm skeptical. And you and I grew up in the NWA era of professional wrestling, but the NWA was the major league of professional wrestling here in a lot of places around the world, and it hasn't been that in 25, 30 years. So what exactly, I don't know. I don't know that back in 1979 we would have been talking about, well, I wonder, maybe they'll bring back the wrestling from 1939 or 1949. It's like, no. It's like you do things in today's time, and you need today's stars, you need today's thing, and I don't hear anything like that. I hear a lot.
Well, it seems like when Jeff Jarrett does his thing, he always has a handful of guys that like Jeff Jarrett's guys. They always kind of flock toward Jeff, although some of those guys like Magnus and maybe Matt Morgan and others, once he started up again and it didn't work well, they dropped out in a heartbeat. Do you think Corgan's got any kind of maybe kind of a group of people that are close to him as far as wrestling goes, would kind of follow him in this direction? Anybody that will go that way? You don't want?
Dave Lagana, who was who worked in WWE and worked at TNA and creative, is kind of one of his other spokesmen. But no, I don't. I don't know what talents, if there's any talent yet. I don't know what exactly. We'll see. But again, at the end of the day, you got to make some money, and I don't think that. I think Corgan's smart enough not to lay out a whole lot of money for nothing. And Jeff Jarrett has always been the one to, go find that one person with deep pockets and sell them instead of selling millions of wrestling fans. And I think there's a limit to how many of those people are out there in this world.
I guess
well, there's not, but for wrestling, there is.
It's kind of like the girl in the Ford commercial this day, and give the people what they want and what they need, huh? Got to find out what these people want, what they need. And what about with the Anthem? Since you did some work about them here recently, what about this new streaming service they've come up with to show back, I guess, some of the old product from the past? And was a free 30-day trial service and then $7.99 after that?
$7.99 price point. Well, if when TNA had their pay-per-views and they had their shows and they didn't have that big of a following then, so how much of a following are you going to have to see the reruns, or how much of a following are you going to have to see what's on Pop TV? Again, I don't buy that there's a whole lot of people out there going, gosh, I wish I could see TNA from 10 years ago. I wish I could see the factions, the X, whatever it was, Rated X or whatever, like I wish I could see those factions form and come back and forth, and I wish I could see, I understand people wanting to see AJ Styles, but I think they want to see AJ Styles today. I don't know that they want to see AJ Styles used poorly.
It's kind of a shame, too, you got to go back and promote the guys who were with you 10 years ago as opposed to guys you've got today. And all your big push.
It seems kind of ridiculous.
They had a lot of names that came through there. But they
didn't do good work. And
they didn't stay very long.
The booking was always a big problem, and the effort was always a big problem, too. So I watched all those pay-per-views. I watched all those shows. They weren't very good, so I'm just kind of like, what kind of TV show do you want to watch? I'll watch Law and Order or whatever. Those are good shows. I don't know that you want to watch old shows that were bad for too very long.
Is their formula change? It's pretty much the same. We tape the regular weekly shows. We have maybe a pay-per-view a few times a year, and that's pretty much it.
Well, yeah, Impact right now, that's it. They're looking to tape some material with other promotions and that kind of thing. But again, it comes down to what kind of story are you telling? What kind of fights are you promoting between, and who are those fighters? And if you can't get the people excited about that, I don't know. The idea that they're excited about pull the curtain back and these stories about who controls the promotion that never go anywhere and make very much sense, that day has passed. And
is Karen Jarrett still involved in the regular TV production? Is she still on camera for some of these shows? I keep seeing her in the write-ups and the summaries of the shows, keeps her name dropping. What in the world is she still doing around there?
Well, they take 12 shows in a row. So when the parting of the ways or whatever's going on with Jeff Jarrett, Karen's part of that. So I don't know that she's coming back, but you got to wait for the new shows. And again,
how about this new show in Canada? They're moving up there for their next big roundup.
Moving up there, and they're leaving Mr. Cornette behind. So
he can't make the trip, can he?
He can't go to Canada.
Yeah, so they're going to Canada. They'll tape the next round.
Now he can go to Detroit. He can go to Cobo Hall, but he can't go to Canada.
So, go close, but not close enough. But they tape the new shows. They're going to do the pay-per-view up there too, right?
I believe so.
Wow, interesting. So the WWE, what do they have going this day and time? What's going on there that makes those guys to still be a success?
The reunion. Well, number one, they have a lot of revenue streams. They have, really, number one is they have a very lucrative television contract with NBC Universal. So they're putting on 5 hours of original programming every week, and they are the difference between USA Network being in the running for the top 5 cable networks or not being in the running at all. So it's as shaky as their ratings can be and shaky as their house shows and all that, they have a very nice cushion to stand on. And so and they have the major league production, they have the major league stars, and our society is about major leagues, so that certainly helps them too. They're not blowing the world apart, but they're not in trouble either. And so
who's number 2? Is Impact number 2, or is Ring of Honor number 2?
Of the two, Ring of Honor.
Ring of Honor is second behind WWE.
Who's making some money. So Ring of Honor is surviving on their own, on their own revenue. So you got to think they're one of them. Anthem is losing money on Impact, so you can't rate them. There's PWG. It runs limited shows, but they're very the shows they run make a lot of money. They do well. And New Japan is doing well in Japan and making inroads slowly, but and then just really having the great content, and so it's easier to $9.99 and you can watch those shows, and I do, and there are definitely a growing number of people who do. So I think it's kind of hard to calculate because there's a lot of those promotions that are losing money. So Evolve has its problems right now, and I don't know. I think CWF Mid-Atlantic number two. Yeah.
And they've got that big show on Friday as far as the fan get-together. Then they've got the in-ring action coming up on Saturday, right?
That is true.
What's their bell time? 8:50? Remember the back in the day was 8?
7:30.
I hope it's earlier because back in the day it was always bell time 8:50. I'm thinking 8:50. That's kind of late, isn't it? Back in the day.
For you and I, but I will say this in the show in Chapel Hill the other week, those shows start on time and they end on time. And I know you've been to the marathon, the marathon independent shows, and they aren't that much fun sometimes. And so the fact that there's a structure to it, and we got to get you over there.
That's what we got to get to. We got to find who's going to be the next Ring of Honor group that goes to the WWE. Who's leaving next? I've got an inside tip. It's going to be Silas Young and the Beer City Bruiser headed there next. Is that true?
I could see that. I could see them invading. The two of them by themselves invading.
Yes.
I know you like Silas Young because I think that character's based on you.
It's got to be.
Beer City Bruiser. I mean, have a beer. I don't know about bruising anybody.
Yeah. But who do you see going next? Who's the next?
I don't know. I think that they've got to absorb that crew they've got right now.
I guess the Young Bucks are doing pretty well on their own where they're at, right? And the skateboarding's coming back too.
Yeah, I think so. I think the Dynamic Dudes are on their way. Yeah, the Young Bucks.
That was Shane Douglas Jr. went right through there.
Young Bucks apparently have Proto Pops coming. Like they have the ice cream pops coming. And,
oh my gosh!
They're the hit of Hot Topic over at the Four Seasons Mall.
Well, I know one thing. Their Super Kick is not going to be extinct, but they're trying to bring it back. I guess try to draw it in a little bit. Maybe not use it as much as being criticized.
It's getting criticized, but they got you got to have a gimmick, and they've got a gimmick. So that's they're controlling their own destiny, making money, and being able to spend time at home with their young children. So can't knock that.
And they've all got families this day and time, no doubt about that.
Yes, they did.
So even James Storm mentioned that's why he stayed with the Impact brand as long as he did, because he was allowed time to spend time with his family.
Yep, and at certain points that was his best choice, I guess is the best way to say it.
So the best choice coming up, we'll close out today at GreensboroSports.com, Bruce Mitchell, PWTorch.com. Close out today, the best bet of the weekend would have to be that show coming up down in Gibsonville on Saturday.
The Rumble's usually pretty exciting. Royal Rumbles are, exciting, because you're waiting for number 30 and then they disappoint you. But also, I always thought the cool thing about the Royal Rumble is you could imagine that, maybe the guy that just came out wasn't so exciting, but that next guy, that could be anybody in the world.
Could be a guy like Shane Helms even.
Right, could be like Shane Helms. Shane Helms worked at the CWF show not too long ago. That guy, I enjoy that guy.
Could be one of the three, maybe Gregory Helms, Shane Helms, or Hurricane Helms. You know what you're going to get.
Or maybe all three together.
We've seen that a few times. Yeah. Bruce, what's your next product coming up at the PW Torch? You got a podcast later this week. I went out already.
One that went out on Monday, and then we'll have another one go out on current news, and then the mailbag and answering questions, sort of like what I did with you back on the AM
back in the day.
Radio. Yeah, we took a lot of phone calls, so it was doing some of that. So lots of stuff. I'm also on Twitter at Mitchell PW Torch, and
how much do you put out a day on there, probably?
On Twitter?
Yeah.
Depends on how inspired I am, but I'm good at the counterpunch. So
is it usually information pops, or is it more or less pops just between you and the audience, or the readers, or the listeners? You're trying
more like I'm reacting to what I see,
right.
Or I'm reacting to what I see on television, or it's a different thing writing in long form. Maybe I have a joke to make, or maybe something like that, something to respond to.
And you just like to sit back and see what the reaction is going to be.
So it's been. I avoided Twitter for many years, but it's gone better than I thought. People have been pretty cool. So Mitchell at Mitchell PW Torch. If you're not following me, please do.
I hope that JP Mundy checks this out. He's the news and records / writer for that little group out of Raleigh who occasionally writes wrestling for them. I think it was RaleighNews.com or Raleigh.com.
Yeah.
But JP, good guy there. And then you've got a guy used to be the news and record, Jay Reddick, down in Florida now, down in Orlando.
Yes,
So a lot of these guys are still
a lot of folks.
stirring things up.
Contact with him. The Go Get Over podcast with WRAL, the old home of Uncle Paul and all his friends, and Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling, the TV studio show.
Go Get Over
have that
podcast.
too. And thought I was going to be on that show, but at some point I will be, I think. But,
well, Bruce, you'll be back with us in about 2 or 3 weeks. We'll be doing this again.
Absolutely.
Keep up the good work. Good to have you on board. And shout out tonight to all the first graders in Mr. Bruce Mitchell's class at Archer School.
Yep. And we are at the hottest spot in all of Greensboro, right here.
This is the office right here. Spring Garden Street, the Sheetz, and across the street, you got Mother Tucker's over there, I guess it is, or Mother Tuck's.
Mother Tucker's. It's my hangout joint.
Check them out.
Just like you used to hang out on
George's Pizza.
George's Pizza.
Lived in George's Pizza for several years. Same type thing.
Yeah.
Get that good deal and just keep rolling in your sweet baby's arms. There you go.
There you go.
Stay around the shack till the mail train comes back. We just heard the mail train go by a few minutes ago here on Spring Garden. Bruce, we'll see you again. Take care.
Talk to you soon.